Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. Today's video is dedicated to moving to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I just had a text message from someone who was asking me, how do I move to Calgary? And that person is somewhere in Ontario texting me saying, hello, how do I move to Calgary, Alberta, Canada? And what do you respond to such a message? Well, it's going to be a hell of a lot of talking back and forth through text messages. So I thought to myself, maybe I should just make a video about it, because people are trying to do their own research, but I really don't have time to explain to every single individual on how to do that. So here you go. This is how you move here. Step number one is, of course, research, and that's what a lot of you who are watching this video are doing right now. You're trying to research about the city. When I moved to Calgary myself, and that's the reason why I actually started this YouTube channel at first place, I started doing the research, and back then, it was like 6 years ago when I started this YouTube channel, there was no information about Calgary. I literally had to go into Google Photos, look at the pictures of Calgary Tower, and there were some really not so good pictures that really didn't give me a good idea of what Calgary is out there. And based on those pictures, yeah, that's how I made up my mind to move. And some rumors from other people that they do actually have more jobs here. So the main first thing is, of course, to do a research. And luckily, over the years, I have produced countless amount of videos dedicated to Calgary, and I'll actually leave you a bunch of those very important videos in comments and in the description of this video for you to watch, so you can have a more in-depth research. Second is, you have to understand legal requirements. So a lot of people who are contacting me do not have like a work permit, or they're graduating on a student visa in Canada, immigration. So the legal requirement of being in Canada, if you are not already Canadian permanent residents, you have, or a citizen, and you're here on the visa, you have to understand the legal requirement of being in Canada and working in Calgary. So you have to do your own research in terms of immigration. If you are outside of Canada, or you're a tourist in Canada and you just want to move here and start working, well, maybe you need to have a work permit for that or get your permanent residency. So understanding the legal requirements for being in Calgary is also very important. And of course, most important part for me, why did I move to Calgary back in the day, is job search. I came as an international student to Ontario, and I was on post-graduation work permit, which is 3 years. And guess what? I couldn't find proper jobs in Ontario because there's too many people out there. So searching a job would help me with immigration, and that's why I came here. I looked at my friend, my roommate, who also studied in the same college with me, Centennial College on Progress Avenue. Okay, we rent, he was not in the same room, but we had 3 rooms, 3 guys, 2 from Ukraine and 1 from Russia, rented together. Each of us had our own bedroom. So yeah, his name is Dima. He went back to Ukraine. He couldn't find a job. He was working part-time as a photographer. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to be Dima. I'm moving to Calgary. I want to find a way to stay in Canada. And here I am now. After the years, it took me like 4 years to get my immigration done, permanent residency. Now I'm a citizen, and well, now I'm helping other people to relocate into Calgary through my YouTube channel. And not only that, but anyways, so yeah, job search. I came here, it took me roughly within 2 weeks, I found my job. I think my wife already had something aligned. We were going through interview process. It's important to start applying for jobs and getting job in Calgary, or at least you can get your job transfer within the company. So without the job, it's quite difficult, but it's pretty easy to find a job in Calgary. It's not too complicated. It's a great place, a great city. As I said, it took me literally 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, I was already working on a job. Nothing crazy, nothing high paying, but it was a job, and it helped me with immigration. So having your resume here, I had a friend, I put my friend's address as my own address. I even transferred my phone line to look like it is from Calgary, so it starts with 587 or 403, so that people think that I'm already here. I didn't want them to know I'm out of province. I did not want them to know I'm not in Calgary yet. I started sending out my resumes before even moving to Calgary, and then they invited me for an interview, and I said I'll be here and I'm coming. I booked my tickets, I came, I went for an interview, I got a job off. That's how it worked. So important part is job search, and of course housing. Guys, housing in Calgary, is going expensive. Everybody's working from home. Maybe you are doing the same thing. Maybe you're in Ontario, you're fed up of that place, or in Vancouver, unaffordable. You decided to finally move to Calgary, settle down, purchase your own house, or buy a condo at least, or a townhouse. So you have to understand the housing market and the prices and things like that. Rents, if you're planning to rent, if you need any idea on how much it is to purchase a house or what your mortgage pre-qualification would be. My wife is a mortgage broker, Neetu Realtors with DLC Clear Trust Mortgages. She can get you pre-approved, pre-qualified. Link in the description of the video. Go ahead and contact her, Neetu. She's originally from Mumbai. She speaks English, Hindi, Malayalam, and Marathi. I can ask her all the language she speaks. And myself, I'm a realtor with eXp Realty in Calgary, Alberta. And no, I didn't come here to become a realtor. And no, it was not my goal of starting this YouTube when I became a realtor years after doing YouTube. I first did YouTube for years, then I joined real estate. Just telling you, I didn't start a YouTube because I was a realtor. I became a realtor 2.5 years ago, and I started this channel 6 years ago, over 6 years ago. Yeah, so just so you know, with eXp Realty, give me a call if you need a property to buy for yourself or sell. Anyways, if you're searching for rent, go on Rent Faster Facebook Marketplace and do a research what kind of rents. Figure out which quadrant of the city you want to be living in. Calgary is like this. We have northeast, we have, well, northeast, northwest. Well, I'm looking like that, but for you it's pointing me in the mirror probably. Then we have southeast and southwest. Guys, I lived in northeast, I lived in southwest, and I now live in the southeast. So I moved all around the Calgary, and I can tell you guys, you have to understand what the prices are. You have slightly cheaper prices in the southeast close to downtown because that's a higher crime rate. In the northeast, well, Marlborough Mall, I used to live there, they say it's a higher crime rate. When I lived there, I didn't notice anything, but people say it has a reputation like that, even though it's getting better now. So you have to understand the city, the quadrant we have. If you're not from Calgary, you wouldn't understand that, but you can literally have the same address and just the ending, like southeast or southwest is changed, or northwest, and you can go to the same address, but you'll be in the wrong part of the city if you don't understand which quadrant of the city you're in. There are literally same streets, the name, house numbers and everything, but you'll be completely at the wrong address. Anyways, that does happen. It's one thing you would have to adjust to Calgary. Another part is finance. You have to manage your finance. You have to understand how much money is going to cost you to move here. When I moved here, I literally had no money. I had money for the airplane tickets. I came here, it was like -40 at that time. It got really cold, snow, and I was like, oh, what the place did I move myself into? I'm coming from Toronto, and I left when it was warm, and I landed here, and it's snowing, and it's cold, and it's depressing. I rented a room in a basement, okay, behind Marlborough Mall. And if you don't know Marlborough Mall is, that means you're not from Calgary. Anyways, it was back in the day before, when it was actually way higher crime rate than right now, and that's what I rented. Great rent. I had no better. So yeah, make sure you have enough money or you end up like me until you start getting a good job and you move out to some other places. But if you don't have kids, it's still fine. If you have kids, I would recommend finding and doing the research on your community. That's why the next part is education for your kids. You have to do a research which schools are better in Calgary, where you want to rent or buy, in which quadrant, where of the part of the city, which community, which are the schools that would be matching your kids' education. Or if you're a student, you want to live closer to University of Calgary or SAIT or Mount Royal University. You know, we have SAIT Polytech and Bow Valley College, so you have to know the geography and like where you're going to be studying or where you're going to be living or where your kids are going to be going to, things like that. And of course, guys, you have to understand the healthcare. As soon as you come to Alberta, you can actually get a health card. So I'd highly recommend applying for a health card, getting it's easier here to find a family doctor than in many other places, so that's good part. But you have to arrange and everything that you have everything in place. Also think about transportation. When I came to Calgary, I used public transit, and guess what? It sucked majorly, especially when it gets cold. You are on a bus stop, it is cold, and it's not like cold, it's really cold. And if it's like goes very cold, like in February when it gets into -40, then your boogers freeze inside your nose. Your eyelids get What do you call that in English? Ini. Well, basically in Russian it is ini, but it's basically frost built up on your eyelids, and you're like in your beard, and you have saliva here. If you have some beard, you're oh my god, and at least your lips crack, so you need a balm and lip balm and things like that. Think about transportation. My recommendation in Calgary, if you don't have a car, you're screwed. It's best to have a car. We have amazing public transit, but it still will take you 40 minutes to get somewhere where it takes you 5 minutes or 7 minutes on your car. So I highly recommend buying a cheap used car and using that. Without the car, it's unpleasant, to say the least. A lot of people don't have cars, live in downtown, don't want to have cars, but it's their choice. They like to suffer. I prefer having a car in Calgary. So highly recommend considering transportation. Don't rely solely on public transit, because I don't like standing in a cold. I prefer the heater in the car and just driving on my way and getting things done within 5 minutes instead of spending half a day driving back and forth. Anyways, Calgary is, you pay less taxes here, you make a little bit more money, and you could probably afford buying a cheap car. Next thing I would say, well, you know, you have to understand all of this together. Like, what are your motives to move to Calgary? What are the reasons? Watch some comparison videos. I made some comparison videos. Toronto versus Calgary, you know, Vancouver versus Calgary. Consider those videos. Look at some of my videos on the channel that I have. I'll leave some videos, as I said, in the description of this video so you can watch. But I'm just saying that you have to consider and understand your true motives, why you want to be here. My motive was here is to buy real estate. Real estate is more affordable. It's right now to stay here. Initial, my motive was to finish immigration. I wanted to get my immigration done because it was easier to get a job. I wanted to go through Alberta immigration nominee program, and I wanted to then get it done, and possibly after the immigration is done, move back to Toronto, because that's where I came from. I went for a visit to Toronto after that, and I was like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back, and it's not the same Toronto that I remember. It's overcrowded, overpriced, and just it's a mess. So I also went to Vancouver not too long ago, and it's expensive. Why? It's amazing. I stayed in a $500 a day hotel in downtown Vancouver. I had a blast of a time. We went and we had some steak and we had some other things, and I spent a lot of money. I could have went for a vacation for 2 weeks to the Dominican Republic instead of going for Vancouver for 3 days. Anyways, nothing to regret. I'm back to Calgary, and I realized I'm not that rich to be there or be there. Even though Vancouver, I would definitely live in Vancouver. Vancouver is the best place. I liked it more than Toronto. I liked it more than Calgary, but I don't have $3 million or $5 million to buy a house there, the one that I like, and it's still going to be not even a new house. But in Calgary, I think it's best for me. My motives was immigration. Then I stayed here for work, higher income, less taxes, and I have real estate here, which I wouldn't be able to afford in Vancouver or in Toronto, maximum a condo, and raising the family, I think it's better. And of course, guys, investment opportunities. Investing into real estate in Calgary. I already have 3 properties, 3 mortgages, and well, it's great. It's a great place to invest money, to raise your family, to have income. I have a kind of a Canadian dream that I wouldn't be able to have anywhere else. Those are my motives. What are your reasons? Are you okay with the cold? Are you okay to buy a car? Are you okay to be in Calgary, not to have like beach walks like you would have in Vancouver or Brampton, what you have in next to Toronto? I'm just joking, guys. I'm just making fun. I don't know why Brampton is so much picked up on social media, but I have people who move to Calgary from Brampton, and they move to Northeast Calgary from Brampton, and Northeast Calgary is known to have a lot of Punjabi community, and they say it's so much better here than there. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave comments down below. Ask me questions. Ask me questions about anything about Calgary, and I'll try and do my best to make a separate video answering your questions. We'll see you if you decide to move in Calgary. Bye for now.